Alrighty, guys, welcome. We have surprising a pretty big slate for Saturday. We got 10 games to go over. So as always, what we'll do in this live stream is we'll take a look at what we know so far as injuries go. Take a look at the Vegas odds, then go team by team. Talk about the players I like and questions at the end. Once again, whatever game I like will automatically blow out. Mentioned that yesterday with Brooklyn and Portland. A nice 2-point spread and a blowout. Again, Portland just, the best team in the league, I guess, now. So, all right, let's start with the top here. And LaMelo Ball is in, and he is starting. Now, playing time, I just don't know. Brago, there's like mixed messages here. Brago said he can't expect Ball and Monk to immediately be ready for big minutes. But then there's like another quote that said, like, what did they say? Yeah, LaMelo's starting, so, like, I think we probably get around 25-ish minutes from him. So probably not going to go there, but, yeah, we'll get to that. Grayson Allen, doubtful. Let's see. Porzingis is out. Doesn't do much, to be honest. Kleba is probable. Vooch is questionable. That's pretty big. And Lauri Markkanen, so two bigs for Chicago, both questionable. Pokusevski's out. We have Ross and Ennis out. The Magic have 9 healthy bodies. Garland out, Hardenstein out, Conley out, Mitchell out. Again, LaMelo in. Oubre is out. Draymond was questionable, but now in or probable. Again, a Ball is starting. LeBron questionable for tomorrow. Let's see. Pistons will have 9 healthy bodies as well, and I think that's where we're at right now. Yeah, that's where we're at for the moment. Taking a look at the Vegas odds. I'm not going to go through every one of these. Let me refresh. I'll just mention a couple of the ones that are supposed to be more high scoring. So let's see. We have Golden State and Houston over 230. That one, obviously, two teams that play fast, two teams that don't play a ton of defense. Pelicans and Timberwolves pushing 240 over under, and Wizards and Mavs also over 230. So those are the games that stand out as far as pace. And let's get into it. We'll start off with Detroit and Charlotte. So Detroit, again, 9 healthy bodies. I think it's really the main guys here. Again, the veterans are resting. So like Stewart, Josh Jackson, Sadiq Bey, Killian Hayes. I think all look pretty solid here. Stewart, the price is coming up. But we've seen some pretty big games when he starts at the 5. They're also missing Jahlil Okafor, so like maybe he has to play a little bit more. It's a good matchup, too, against this front court of Charlotte. So I think Stewart's a guy that we can look to in the mid-range. Josh Jackson, the only concerning thing about him is last game for the Pistons, they rested everyone. He only played 20 minutes. So, like, obviously, not the best. I do think he probably plays more in this one. Sadiq Bey will get the big minutes. Not as high of a usage guy, but he's at 5-2. Again, pretty fair play. Killian Hayes also should get about 30 minutes. So, like, the main guys for the Pistons, I think, all look pretty solid. There's no, like, standout smash play on this slate, but I think all those guys are firmly in play. Frank Jackson, assuming he comes off the bench, I think we get about 25-ish minutes from him. And then Sekou Doumbouya probably starts at 3.1K and probably gets, mid-20s minutes, but is a pretty low usage guy. All right, so let's move on to Charlotte. Again, LaMelo Ball in. I'm not expecting huge minutes from him. This will probably be a wait-and-see approach for me. And now, can he get it done in like 25 to 28 minutes? Of course he can. Again, it's LaMelo Ball, but I will be staying away with LaMelo Ball in and most likely limited. I'll probably be staying away from everyone else on Charlotte too. So pretty simple there. It's basically going to be a stay away from me for the Charlotte side. All right, Golden State and Houston. So on the Golden State side, Steph Curry I think will be popular. I think is a good spend up. Again, he's been shooting the ball amazing. Great matchup here. So like Steph a lot for GPPs. Draymond Green I also like for tournaments. Probably not a cash game play with his up and down nature, but I could see him having a big triple-double in a spot like this. Wiggins, no thank you. Oubre is out. So then Kent Bazemore is one of the better value plays at 4-6. 35, 33 minutes last couple games. I'm expecting 30-plus in a good matchup. So I do like Bazemore there for value. And then Looney's just like a fair value play. Opportunity cost out center, right? Is it worth it to play him? Juan Toscano-Anderson off the bench probably gets about 25 minutes. Fair, contrarian value play. All right, on the Houston side, so it's basically the big 3 here. Wood, KPJ, Olynyk all look good because it's a good matchup and all are going to play massive minutes. So like Wood, KPJ, Olynyk all I think look pretty solid plays. KPJ with the troll game after he was chalked a couple slates ago goes out for 50 and 11. Now, don't expect that again, but still, he's going to play massive minutes in a good matchup. Same thing with Olynyk. Same thing with Christian Wood. I like all 3 here. Tate, not as much there at 6-1. And then I will mention DJ Wilson did play 25 minutes the last game. If for some reason he picks up the start here, I don't think he will, but maybe like an outside chance to run a bigger lineup. Then I could see taking a dart throw on him. But yeah, I'm not playing a Marnie Brooks. All right, so that's 2 games up, 2 games down. Let's see. Any more news here? Nothing else. Let's see where we're at. 150 viewers, guys. 30 likes. Let's try to reach 100 before the end of the show. Appreciate all support as always. And again, knock on wood. Hope for no blowouts because this has been the blowout week of random blowouts. Has been killing me. All right, Chicago and Atlanta. So we should get this news somewhat soon. But we are waiting on Vooch and Markkanen. They're both questionable. If they are both out, then I really like Thad Young and Daniel Tice. So that just depends on Vooch and Markkanen. Now, if Vooch and Markkanen are both in, then Thad Tice kind of secondary plays. I think Kobe White can play either way. He will play about 35 minutes, and it's been pretty solid. 3 of the last 4 games, 47, 31, and 38 fantasy points. This is an up-tempo matchup. So I do have some mention Kobe in the mid-range. And then it's just the bigs, right? Young, Tice, if both those guys are out. If both are in, you could look to Vooch at the top as a contrarian spend up, but that is it. On the Atlanta side, so Trey, Capella both in. I do kind of like Trey for tournaments. I think he's going a little bit overlooked. I don't mind a Trey Vooch stack if he plays, or maybe a Trey Kobe White stack. I think this game is going again a little bit lower owned. So Trey, I do like as a contrarian spend up. Capella, kind of the same thing. If Vooch is out, he should be able to feast against that front court. So those two are decent contrarian GPP plays, but there's not much else here with both those guys healthy. Miami and Cleveland, I'll make this pretty simple. The next 2 games, I have very little interest. Jimmy, Bam, fine contrarian spend ups. Nothing else here. On the Cleveland side, there's nothing. It's one of the worst possible matchups. Garland is out, but Sexton's priced up. I don't really want to go to Chetty at almost 6K. It just basically stay away. Another game, Memphis, on the Memphis side at least, they just run a deep rotation. I think Ja, JV are fine for, again, contrarian GBP plays. Neither priority plays, though. Triple J, too expensive for me. Grayson Allen is doubtful, but again, they just use so many guys. They have Bane, they have D'Anthony Melton, they can dust off Justice Winslow, Tyus Jones can get some minutes, Conchar. It's just too, I just don't want to deal with the headache on this 10-game slate, so I'm probably just going to stay away from the Memphis value. Now, on the Orlando side, it's a little bit more interesting because they have 9 healthy bodies. So, the guys at the top don't have a ton of interest because they're a little bit priced up. Cole, Wendell Carter Jr., don't really like either. Mo Bamba, again, him and Wendell Carter Jr. will split the 7 minutes. If I'm going to take a shot, one of the centers would be Bamba just because he's the better point per minute guy and is a little bit cheaper. Then we get to gross plays like Gary Harris and Dwayne Bacon. Again, I mentioned them last slate because they're going to play minutes. Gary Harris played 31 minutes, went for 21 fancy points. Dwayne Bacon played 32 and went for 11. Again, these guys kind of rely on scoring, but they did only score 75 points. You would think they would score more this game. So if you want to take a dart in either of those guys for value, that's okay. But really the guy I like the best is Mo Wagner, assuming he does start. Now, if you played him last slate, you got very unlucky because he shot 0 of 7. Now, he still got 20 fancy points shooting 0 of 7. But assuming he starts again, I think we get similar minutes of close to 30. And at that price, that is just too cheap for Mo Wagner. So really like Mo if he does start. One of my favorite values in the slate. The guys on the bench, I don't think I get to anyone. If I had to take a shot in one, probably RJ, who I think gets about 20, 25 minutes, but I don't know if we have to go there. All right, so Indiana and OKC, right now it's a little bit hard to say because we just have everyone questionable, and we still don't have the news yet. So I'm kind of buying myself time for this Pacers game, so this could be where we get some value for sure. So I will say, again, same thing I said in my video. If everyone is questionables out, it's LeVert, it's Brissett, and then it's a bunch of value plays that look really good. Like Sumner, even Justin Holiday, McDermott, Aaron Holiday. You can make an argument for basically anyone on the Pacers side if everyone has questionables out. If everyone has questionables in, it'll probably be a team I stay away from. So just, again, hard to say right now. On the Oklahoma City side, not a ton I love. Pokusevski is out, though, along with Dorton, obviously SGA. Baisley feels a little pricey at 6'4". He can still get it done, but I don't love the price point there. Moses Brown could play anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. If I knew he was going to play 30 minutes like he played the last slate, I would like a good amount here for value. But there's also a chance, again, he plays 7 minutes. So I have no idea what they're going to do with Moses Brown in his minutes. I think he's an interesting contrarian value play because he's actually a solid point per minute guy. And then we got guys like Maladon at 4'8", who should play about 30 minutes. He's been a little bit disappointing, but the upside is there. Consistency, not so much, but he can go out and get you 35 or so. So Maladon, I'm intrigued by for value. Roby's a good point per minute guy. Minutes have been a little bit up and down. Also intrigued by him. And then I'm curious to see who they start for Pokusevski. Kendrick Williams is out of the rotation. Does he come back in the rotation this game? Maybe. I don't really want to go to, again, whatever Charlie Brown or Gabriel Deck are. There's just no way I'm playing either of them. But, again, curious to see what they do with the starting lineups. Keep an eye out one for the Thunder. All right, guys. Well, we're about halfway through, a little bit over half. Do we have any more news? Still nothing on the Pacers side. That's the big one, I think. We're over 200 viewers for a Saturday, guys. Appreciate it. Again, if you guys could leave a like button, it does help me out a lot. Closing in on the 9,000 subscriber market as well. So if you're unsubscribed, would appreciate it if you could subscribe, as again, closing in on the 9,000 mark. All right, so Pelicans and Timberwolves. This game has a lot of upside. It does. Zion, I think, goes a little bit overlooked, but he's a guy that can go for 16 in a type of matchup like this. Should play about 35 minutes. I'm intrigued by Zion. Again, I think it will be lower owned. Ingram at 8-3, playable. Would rather get to Zion, though, for a little bit more. And I do like Lonzo at 7-2. He should play 35 plus in this matchup. A guy that has triple-double upside, so do have some interest there in Lonzo, kind of in the mid-range. Then Hernangomez is the guy I think really stands out with no Steven Adams. He should play about 30 minutes, and again, it's a decent matchup here. The only concern is foul trouble against a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, and that is a real concern. So I think Hernangomez will be decently popular. If you think there's foul trouble and you want a GPP pivot, you can go to a guy like Jackson Hayes, who's actually a decent point per minute guy himself. Now, if something happens to Hernangomez, then Jackson Hayes probably benefits big time. All right, on the Minnesota side, I do like Cat at the top. I like the Cat Zion pairing for GPPs. Cat should play about 35 minutes. Again, there's no Steven Adams, so he should be able to feast against his front court. Ant-Man, D'Lo, fine GPP plays as part of a stack. Same thing with Rubio, minutes all over the place. He went for 50 last game, but he also has the chance to play 17 minutes and go for 10. So, yeah, you can take a shot on Rubio, but not something I feel like comfortable with. So really, it's Cat and then some GPP plays like Edwards, like Russell, like Rubio. Washington, Dallas. So I think this game looks pretty good as far as the stack goes. Should be pretty high scoring. Westbrook, Draftkings doesn't want to move his price. So he went for 50 plus in a blowout against Cleveland. This guy is just so consistent. He's going to get a triple-double every night. I think he's one of the best plays of the slate. Again, I sound like a broken record, but DraftKings just refuses to move his price. So once again, he's going to be one of the most popular plays of the slate, and I agree with it. I think he's one of the best plays of the slate. And the same thing, as I always say with the Washington, Westbrook's going to be popular. Maybe an off chance Westbrook has his one floor game. Beal's the guy that'll benefit, but he is has a way lower floor due to the lack of the peripheral stats and more dependent on the scoring. And then the center rotation, just good luck. Like, you can take a shot in Gafford, you can take a shot in Len, hope the minutes are there, but just impossible to try to figure out what Scott Brooks will do. Again, one of the worst coaches in the NBA. Not sure why he still has a job, to be honest. And the opposite side, another, coach that you guys know and love, and Rick Carlisle, also curious as to why he still has a job. Luka Doncic at 10.9K, like him as a spend up here. He doesn't really get a big boost with Porzingis being out, but this is a really, really good spot here. He should go for, 35-ish minutes and has the triple-double upside. I know he's been a little bit up and down recently, but like that Luka-Westbrook pairing I think will be pretty popular for GPPs. The rest of the Mavs, I'm probably not getting to the guards. Now the bigs, Carlisle, it's just so hard to trust. It is. Now I do think Kleba starts and probably plays about 30 minutes. Fair value below 4K. Then you have Powell, you have Cauley-Stein. They can dust off Boban. They can dust off Nicola Melli for some run. If you want to take a shot in one of those bigs, fine. But just be careful here because there is no consistency with his rotations. Dwight Powell could start and play 10 minutes. I would not be surprised. He could also start and play 30 minutes and I would not be surprised. So it's kind of the same situation with Scott Brooks. Is who the hell knows what the minute's going to be like for these Dallas bigs. So that is my breakdown. If you want to take a shot, go for it. Just know there's no consistency with the rotations for the bigs for Scott Brooks and for Rick Carlisle. Again, not sure why either have a job at this point in their career. All right, Denver and the LA Clippers. So on the Denver side, Nikola Jokic at 10.7K also I think is a pretty safe spend up. The game blew out last game, so not super concerned about the 40 fantasy point one. Matchup against the Clippers. Clippers are solid on the defensive end, but individual matchup like Zubac or, Boogie Cousins, I'm not super scared of. So I think Jokic is a pretty safe play with some upside. MPJ's been the clear number 2, firmly in play as well. Should play big minutes, like playing 35 to 40 minutes for MPJ. With the value for the Denver Nuggets, it's Composer for me, I think, stands out the most because of the floor of the assists. 13, 7, 10, and 4 assists the last 4 games for Composer. He also should get over 30 minutes, so Composer's the value guy I'm looking to. On the Clippers side, not a ton here. Kawhi is questionable. If Kawhi plays, I'm just staying away from everyone. If Kawhi is out, you can look to Paul George as a contrarian spend up. And then I will mention Rondo. At 3.5K, he's played 22, 22, and 25 minutes the last 3 games. If he's going to continue to play low to mid-20s minutes, I think he's a value play you can take a shot on. And finally, Toronto and the Utah Jazz. So real quick, though, any more news? Let's see. Still nothing. Okay, so Toronto, we know Lowry's out. Siakam, Van Fleet, tough matchup. They're, more contrarian options to me. I'm not really going to get to OG either. No thank you on Birch at over 5K. The guy I'm looking to is Malachi Flynn at 4-3. Value play. If he starts, I think we get about 30 minutes from him. A guy that can do the peripherals. He had 4 assists, 6 boards last game. So I think Malachi Flynn, if he does start, is a pretty solid value. I'm not going to anyone else here with like Hood, Bembry, Stanley Johnson, Watanabe. No thank you on this 10-gamer. On the Jazz side, what we know is there's still no Mitchell, still no Conley. Gobert's role doesn't change much. Center's loaded. I'll pass there. Clarkson viable for tournaments. 7.5 does feel a little bit pricey for him, but he's still got 40-plus fantasy point upside. I think Ingles is actually the safest, even though he's not been great recently. He'll handle the point guard duties a lot. So even at 7-1, I think Ingles is fine. Bojan, again, very light in the scoring. You can go there for GPPs. Royce O'Neal, a 4-8. Again, low usage guy, but I'll probably play over 30 minutes. I think the guy that looks the best is Niang again. Blew out, so only played 24 minutes. I think if he starts again, we probably get about 30-ish, maybe a little bit more. So Niang's the value guy I think is a pretty solid play. And then I'm not going to get to really anyone else here on this Utah Jazz team. So that is it for my breakdown, guys. Again, we're still waiting on the Pacers news. That will change the slate, really. All right, so feel free to leave some questions in here. We are 250 viewers for a Saturday. Not bad at all, guys, so appreciate it. Let's get to some questions here. Okay, so shooting guard, 4.7K and below for cash games. Let's take a look at that. 4.7K. Yeah, I mean, you got Bacon and Gary Harris that are playable. Like, I'm not really looking at anyone else, I think, in this range. Sumner, I will say. Sumner, it depends on what happens with the Pacers. If, everyone's out for the Pacers, I think you go Sumner. If not, you can go all the way down to Frank Jackson or, Bacon. But it's not a range I love. Obviously, would rather get to, a guy like Campozo for 4.8K. Let's see. Tate or Brissett? Definitely Brissett. I'm not really looking to Tate on this one. Thoughts on game stacking Pelicans Timberwolves? I think it'll be a little bit contrarian, but a Cat Zion pairing I like. 5K Bazemore 4-1 Rui. Probably still Bazemore for me. Balance or spend up? I think there's enough. There's not a lot of smash value, but there's enough to go stars and scrubs. I think Boogie could be a sneaky GBP play. Yeah, he might have to play in this game. He got a DNP last game, so be careful there. Not really for tiers for me. Optimal build tonight. Yeah, I think it's probably leaning towards the stars and scrubs on a 10-gamer. Zion or Wood? Point per dollar, give me Wood since he's cheaper. I'm down by 2, less than 100. I'm not sure what you mean there. Kind of like Birch tonight. He's been playing well. I don't know if I can pay over 5K for Birch. Yeah, LaMelo going to be somewhat limited. We don't have an exact number, but I think about mid-20s minutes. So I'm probably going to take a wait-and-see approach there. Alonzo and D. Russ or Edwards and Kobe. I think they're both pretty similar options. I guess give me the first one. Small forward for 6K and under. All right, so 6K and under for the small forward position. Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Jackson is still pretty good at that price. Or Sadiq Bey. It's probably one of the Pistons guys. Now we're looking at Brooks or Slow-Mo or Chetty. So, yeah, probably one of the Pistons. Bey or Bamba. So, I think Bey for a cash game setting. I think Bamba you can go to for GPPs. LaMelo Ball or D'Angelo Russell on DK. It's probably LaMelo. Or, no, not LaMelo. I was thinking Lonzo. So, it's probably... I'll probably just go D'Lo there because LaMelo Ball, a little bit worried about his minutes. I'm taking a wait-and-see approach there. Westbrook and mid-range guys, I like that. DK, or D'Lo, Levert. Sumner, Wagner, Hernan Gomez, Lonzo Zion, Moses Brown. I like the upside on it. LaMelo projected for 20 minutes. Yeah, I don't think he's going to play a ton. Stewart or Hernan Gomez. If you have the salary to get to Stewart. Hernan Gomez might look a little bit better point per dollar. If Pacers guys are in, then maybe Frank Jackson. Yeah, you can definitely play Lonzo instead of KPJ. Lonzo has a pretty high floor with the peripheral stats. Top fade of the slate. I I mean, I think Steph Curry will be pretty popular in a good matchup. I think it's just one of those situations where obviously the upside is there, but it might be a little bit over-owned. So I'll say Steph, even though I like him. I think this is the ownership thing. I think Steph might come in a little bit over-owned. Like, if Steph's going to be more popular than Westbrook, give me Westbrook all day long. It's just because of the peripherals, right? So Frank Jackson or Hayes? That's probably Frank Jackson. I think Stars and Scrubs, we're still waiting on some stuff here. How many Pistons should we play? It kind of, I think you can play 1 or 2 Pistons. I wouldn't go crazy on this 10-game slate. I wouldn't stack the Pistons, but you can definitely get to 1 or 2. Westbrook, Curry, and Luka. Yeah, I think it's Westbrook, then Luka, then Curry for me. Fading Pistons, okay. Yeah, I think you can fade them. Like, they do have a 9-man rotation, and the starters should get a good chunk of run. I don't think anyone's a must-play. I think maybe getting to 1 or 2 is not a bad idea. Any love for Svi? Probably not for me. KPJ, Russell, Bazemore, Draymond, Hernan Gomez, Flynn, Brissett, and Wood. Okay, so you're just stacking basically that Golden State game. I don't mind it. It's you got some mid-range guys that have upside for sure. So I like the upside in that one. Brad Wanamaker, no with LaMelo there. Hayes, MPJ, or LeVert Sumner as of now. I'll just go the second one and just hope the Pacers guys are out. I'm not if everyone's in for the Pacers, I'm staying away. So that's just one hard to say at the moment. Campozo or Frank Jackson. If you have the salary for Campozo, I'll take Campozo. 8.2K or under. For utility. Yeah, it's a tricky range. I would say there's no standout plays for me. Probably, again, MPJ, bad matchup. Siakam, bad matchup. I don't want to play Sexton against Miami. I don't want to play Rozier with LaMelo back. Van Fleet, bad matchup. JV, potential for blow. There's just not much in this range. You can go to KPJ at 7.4, but I don't think you want to leave 800 on the table. So it would be MPJ or Siakam, but I don't love either in their respective matchups. Wagner is starting. Okay, so Mo Wagner starting. I think he stands out as one of the better value plays this slate. And he shot 0 of 7 and still went for 20 fancy points. So Anthony, Harris, Bacon. Okay, so they're starting that combo. I think Harris and Bacon both look decent. Again, they're going to need some scoring here. So, the starters, the value guys really I'm looking to for the Magic. So I think like Harris, Bacon, Wagner all in play here. Curry coming in at 40%. Yeah, see, I think that's a little bit too high. On a 10-gamer, it's basically like, you remember, I think like 2 weeks ago, on a 12-game slate, Steph was like 50% owned, and he busted because he had a bad shooting game. It's just one of those things where it's like, that's possible. So, like, he is a little bit more reliant on scoring than a guy like Westbrook, than a guy like Luka. If he's going to be that popular, I'm fine going elsewhere and just hoping he has a subpar shooting game. Campozo or Flynn, I think they're pretty similar plays. I think both get around 30 to 34 minutes. I guess Campozo for now, but I think they're very similar. Curry, Svi. Okay, so Svi again. I think Svi Mikhailuk is a guy we can get to if he does start. So like that's another one we got to take a wait and see approach. Like off the bench, he's played 18 and 18. If he does start, like if he starts, then we can consider him. So that's another one. Like the Thunder guys are kind of waiting in the starting lineup as well. So yeah, a couple people mentioned Svi. I think if he does start, he's someone we can get to for value. A spend up, no one else will be on. I think Cat goes overlooked in the slate. Like, I think Westbrook, Luka, Steph are all going to be popular. Jokic will always get some ownership. But I think Cat goes overlooked in this group. So, kind of like him as contrarian spend up. Need help on where to go with shooting guard position. I think LeVert looks great as a spend up if everyone's out for the Pacers. But, again, that's hard to say at the moment. I think shooting guard is pretty weak. I agree. It's a weaker position. You can go down a little bit. You got Campozo, Gary Harris, Dwayne Bacon. All should play some pretty big minutes. I think they're all fine values. Sumner looks good if everyone's out for the Pacers. You got Frank Jackson, who I think plays about 25-ish minutes off the bench. He's in play for value. You got Svi Mikhailuk. If he starts, I would go there at 3-4. So there's definitely some guys that are in play. Tyler Cook can play at min price. I think I only get to Cook if he starts. Not a great point per minute guy. It's kind of been out of the rotation recently, but he's going to play low usage guy. If he starts, I think you could take a shot on him. If he doesn't start, I'll probably not go there. I mean, him and Saquon are pretty similar plays. Yeah, I really don't know what the Pacers guys, to be honest. Westy, 18%. See, that doesn't make sense to me. That really boggles my mind that Steph Curry is going to be like 40% and Westbrook's going to be 18%. If that is true, give me Westbrook all day long there. Like, that really, really surprises me. Yeah, I think Frank Jackson's perfectly fine. Bay or Bazemore tonight, that's a close one. I think they play similar minutes. I think Bazemore's a slightly better point per guy than Bay, so maybe a slight lean to Bazemore. No interest in the last two games. I think they're both kind of ugly games in Denver and the Clippers and Toronto and Utah. I think you could fade both. I think you could fade the late games. Jimmy Butler and Josh Jackson or Luka and Frank Jackson for cash. It's going to be Luka and Frank for me. GPP, Flynn, Frank, Bay, Wagner, Hernan Gomez, Westbrook, Luka, Stewart. I think it looks good. Bay, Moses, or Hayes. For cash games, it's probably Sadiq Bay. For GPPs, I'm good taking a shot at Moses Brown. Again, though, minutes, fluctuations for him. Is Bane a good value at 3-2? If he starts, you can take a shot at him, but Memphis runs a pretty deep rotation. I agree. Westbrook, a way lower owned, I like. It's a good game where Curry can drop. Yeah, it's just one of those, like, if Westbrook's going to be half his own as Steph, I'll take Westbrook there all day long. Flynn, Westbrook, or Bay and Curry. It might be... for GPP, I might lean to the second one. I do prefer Sadiq Bay to Malachi Flynn. Towns been doo-doo for me, but it's a great matchup. Yeah, he's been not great recently, but that's why I think he'll be a good tournament play. Niang, I think Niang's a pretty good value. Like, I think he plays over 30 minutes and is 3-7. Maladon or Flynn, I will say Maladon at the moment. Good matchup there for Maladon. So, yeah, that one's close too. Vucevic out, who benefits the most? I think Thad and Tice. What do you think of Draymond Green? I think he's a good GPP play. Should play 35 minutes in an up-tempo matchup. Definitely that game is stackable. Westbrook's fee, Harris, Wagner, Wood, Lonzo, Draymond. That's a Tice for GPP. Okay, so which Harris are we talking about here? Gary Harris. Okay, yeah. I think that's a perfectly fine GPP lineup. I love TJ Brogdon sets. Yeah, so, like, the Pacers, we could, like, it's tricky because we have a game that we have two games that look pretty appealing here. Detroit, obviously the Detroit side of the Charlotte game, and then Golden State, Houston. But, like, I'm buying myself time for the Pacers because, like, if everyone is out, like, you want to load up in the Pacers. You want to go LeVert. You probably want to go Brissett. You probably want to go at least one more value play. Like, they're going to be super thin in a great matchup. So it's like, it's just buying myself time right now for the Pacers. Mavs Wizards stack. I think it's to be popular. I like it. Yeah, Cat or Luka. Luka for a cash game setting. I think it looks a little more optimal. Is Juancho in play? Juancho Hernan Gomez? Like, we're talking about for the T-Wolves. I'm probably not gonna, like, he's not out of play, but he could only play 15 minutes tonight. I would not be surprised. Like, if you want to go there as part of a game stack for a contrarian value play, it's viable. Kenny Martin Jr., probably not for me. Favorite values, I think Mo Wagner looks really good now with him starting, and then we're kind of waiting on some other ones. Bazemore with no Oubre, I think looks solid. We got some potential value for the Pacers. You know, you got Hernan Gomez for the Pelicans. You know, you got Flynn. You got some of the Pistons guys. There's a decent amount of value. You got Niang for Utah. Yeah, I hope so as well for Pacers news. Thoughts on this for cash games? Westbrook, Frank, Luka, Niang, Hernan Gomez, Campazzo, Olynyk, and Wagner. Looks good. Yeah, looks good to me. Jaren Jackson, no limit, or Brissett. It would actually be Brissett for me if there's everyone out for the Pacers, because the Pacers have, like, no bigs, and he's playing massive minutes. So, like, I would go Brissett if everyone's out for the Pacers. Yeah, you can do it. You know, the game I like the Detroit side to get him out, and obviously like Golden State, Houston a lot. You can fade it and hope, wait for news, but yeah, Mo Wagner the GOAT going for 5 for 45 today. Which game likely to go to OT? Whichever game I have no exposure to. And whichever game I like will blow out. Lee, Svi, Josh Jackson, Wagner, Bamba, Westbrook, Doncic, KPJ. talk about Saben Lee, right? I know he's min-price, but like the minutes have not been great for him even when everyone's been out. Like he's played like 17, 15, 18. It's not enough for me to go there to Saben Lee. Like if he had the chance to play like 25, I think he would be viable. Any love for Ingram? He's fine. He's fine. I think I'd rather get to Zion, but if you have just like 8-3 remaining, then I'm okay to settle on Ingram there. If Pacers are out, how many should we load up on? I think you want to look to LeVert at the top and probably at least one more guy. PG-13 for GPPs. Yeah, he'll be low owned. Matchup is not the best, but he will be pretty high usage. There's no quality. Thanks for feedback and talking to your audience. Hey, appreciate that, man. Sneaky game stack. I think Minnesota, New Orleans. I think that game will go a little bit lower owned. I think the masses are going to flock to Washington, Dallas. I think Golden State, Houston will also be popular. So maybe that Minnesota, New Orleans game I think goes a little bit overlooked. Bay love. Yeah, I think Bay's a pretty safe play. I think he gets about 35 minutes. I think he's a safe play. If he hits the shots, he can have some upside. Best utility for 4,100. So at 4,100 or below. let me take a look here. So 4,100. Yeah, I think Frank Jackson looks like a pretty solid play, 3-9. The Pistons have a 9-man rotation. I think he plays about 25, maybe a little bit more. And then you have a lot that's kind of up in the air. Looney's fine, but opportunity cost might not be worth it to play him at one of your center positions. Niang at 3-7. You got Wagner down there at 3-3. Yeah, I think low on Paul George is fine for tournaments if Kawhi's out. Hayes or Composo. Jaden McDaniels, viable. I just think... Not out of play. He'll play about 30 minutes. Again, one of those guys you can go to as part of a game stack. He'll play like 30 minutes. Just not the highest usage guys. Boogie, I think he plays in this one because I think they'll need him against Jokic. I don't really think they can throw pat against Jokic. Boogie is a good point per minute guy. He'll be low owned. Kind of like a Rondo. Like Boogie and Rondo are interesting flyers for GPPs. LeVert, Flynn, Draymond, or Frank, Gary Harris, and Luka. First one, if everyone's out for the Pacers. Second one, if everyone's in for the Pacers. Westbrook and Luka Doncic stack with Stewart in value. I like it. TJ LeVert, Sumner, Wagner, Stewart, Lonzo, Zion, Moses. Yeah, so you're assuming that everyone's out for the Pacers, which is fine by me. Olynyk or Porter. I think they're very similar plays. Like Olynyk, Wood, and Porter are all very similar plays to me. I think they all play about 40 minutes in a good matchup. I like them all. I think the way you win is by anticipating those who are questionable to be out and ahead of the moves. Yeah, I agree. I think you can definitely, if we get that Pacers news later, we might not get some guys as high owned. So like you can go for LeVert, you can go for some of those value. Curry, Luka, or Westbrook for GPP. I mean, I like them all. So I guess it comes down to ownership, and Steph is going to be the most popular, followed by Westbrook. So maybe Luka will be the lowest owned. I'm not sure. Again, I don't look at ownership, but whoever is the lowest owned, I think Steph will be the most popular, which I actually disagree with on this slate. Ricky Rubio starting. Okay, still nothing on the Pacers end. We got about a minute left, so wrapping it up here, guys. Svi or Frank. Right now it's Frank, but if Svi does start, he's another value we can look to. Westbrook, LeVert, Bay, Brissett, Hernan Gomez, KPJ, Wagner, Niang. Yeah, so that's good if the Pacers guys are out. I like it. Towns, George, or Zion. Of those three, give me Towns. Yeah, also, again, Vucevic, we have potential value there with guys like Thad, guys like Daniel Tice. So right now, I'm kind of just taking a wait-and-see approach and waiting for news. What is Charlie Brown exactly? Charlie Brown is starting. Okay, so he is starting for the Thunder. Let's see who else they're starting. We'll go over this, and then we will get out of here. Okay, so we just got news that he is starting. I mean, he is min-price. Where is he? Min-price for the Thunder. Hasn't played a ton. You can take a shot at him. It's not something I feel really good about. Both him starting, I would say we probably get at least 25 minutes. So playable, but not something I feel really good about, Good grief. Yeah, Charlie Brown breaking the slate. Thoughts on Malachi? I think Malachi is actually a safer value, assuming he does start. Yeah, we're going to the chocolate factory. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. You got to keep an eye on the news, right? We're Pacers, Bulls. There's a lot still up in the air. Starting lineups for some teams. So Monitor the news. Go from there. Good luck. Hopefully the games you stack don't blow out. I know the games that I stack will blow out based on what's happened this week. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for another live stream.